For Comedy Hype News, I'm Danielle Miller. Last week, Kevin Hart appeared on Grant Cordane's Power Players podcast, and for a change, the comedian was asked about his businesses and entrepreneurial moves, as opposed to the movies he makes in the entertainment industry. During their conversation, the two would touch on starting a business, the proper way to market, as well as some of their investments. One portion of the conversation that gained traction on social media was Kevin's thoughts on how systematic racism keeps the hood impoverished.
If you look in the hood, you hear about it. There's liquor stores and check cashing places because they know that the people in the hood aren't smart enough to open up bank accounts. They're gonna get a check, they're gonna cash it, and it's a liquor store right next to it. You're gonna get your check and you're gonna buy this liquor, and then you're not gonna have no more money. Let's just put that around them. Let's also put a bunch of shit that's easy and cash available. We don't want you to gain credit. We want you to be cash driven. That's how we keep the poor poor. It's not until you understand that you get out.
Now, this was just a portion of their hour-long conversation, but this short clip was enough to gain controversy for Kevin's statements. There were some people online that weren't too happy to hear this information, especially coming from Kevin Hart. One user would write, Kevin Hart says the hood is full of liquor stores and check cashing payday loan places because people aren't smart enough to have bank accounts. These celebs get a little money and think they can comment on planned systematic poverty and financial exploitation. The same user would continue to fire off several tweets explaining their position. Another one of their tweets read, blaming the people for not simply getting out is the same tired bootstrap shit that has come out of conservative politics for decades now. They want you to blame yourselves because if you stopped, you'd start analyzing the capitalist system causing all the poverty around you. Now, the comments between Hart and Cardone before this viral clip focused on people not having access to information, which seemed to be the meat of this conversation. Hart would then speak on initially being ignorant to information, but correcting his behavior once he became informed.
Are poor people wrong for calling everything a scam? They're being scammed. Naturally, if I'm in a position and I am being scammed because everything around me is set up for me to fail, unless I'm educated or somebody says, hey man, you gotta stop going there, you gotta start going over here. When people go over here, they move differently.
Kevin would add, just because you don't know doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's just what you don't know. I thought that what I didn't know was just stuff that you were making up. It seems like many had a problem with Hart discrediting the education of some people that live in the hood. However, despite him using the words aren't smart enough, there were many who agreed with Kevin's rhetoric. Another user would say, I get his point, and it has some value. However, white supremacy is the reason why the systematic issues exist. People are very smart in the hood, but sometimes lack some access and opportunities that would allow them to understand how money works. Another would defend Kevin by writing, the only thing he said wrong here is that they're not smart enough. LOL. Everything else was fact. Some of them are very aware of what's happening and still choose to do exactly what he said because they don't trust the government anyway. Today on the show, we've got comedian Marcus Harvey, as well as business coach Dave Anderson, aka the Business Bully, to talk about Kevin Hart's comments on people in the hood not being smart enough to own bank accounts. Gentlemen, how are you?
Absolutely. How you doing?
I'm good. Now, I want to get your reaction because I know that Marcus also owns a barbershop. And of course, with the name Business Bully on Anderson's side, let me first ask you, gentlemen, what was your first thoughts when you saw this clip from Kevin Hart? I want to start with the Business Bully.
Danielle, to be honest with you, I wasn't at any particular point shocked. Kev and I are from the same city, so we grew up in very similar conditions. And when you live in the hood like we did, you did see a lot of liquor stores, you did see a lot of check cashing places. There weren't a whole lot of black owned banks. And to this day, a lot of that is true. The only thing that bothered me was the part where he said that we people from the hood weren't smart enough. I think that was a bit of a misstep.
Yeah, I can agree with that as well. It's the not smart enough that I think got persons riled up, basically. Marcus, what are your thoughts on it? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Yeah, I mean, there's no. It's kind of like that new movie. They cloned Tyrone. If you guys seen that, and it's amazing how you kind of see a lot of the environment in that movie of kind of how it's like a revolving door of just like decisions that are consistently put in front of you to make over and over again. That's not going to lead you to success in a sense. Is what I saw from that movie. And I hear that's what Kevin's kind of saying, but one of the things, of course, we all going to say, and I'm pretty sure he would say, because he's smart enough to know, like, maybe I wish I could have taken that back in which I said it. But as you can tell, at that point, you hyped up in the conversation. You're talking, but yeah, the misstep is definitely the aren't smart enough, because we all know that there's geniuses in the hood. I mean, there's just a lot of times a lot of their genius can't be exploited or used to build the community within itself, because there's not a lot of opportunity, to like demonstrate that. So
Yeah, I agree. And I'm from the Bahamas and we have
mhm.
hoods here too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can attest to the fact that honestly and truly there's a lot of talent that do come out of the hood. I mean, you guys said it in your statements as well as we've seen it. And we see it with Kevin Hart as well. He didn't come from a family that was very prominent. He came from the hood as well. So one of the tweets mentioned that people get a little bit of money and then start saying things like this. So, what I want to ask you, and Marcus, I'm going to continue on with you. Do you think that persons who are still in the hood are the reason to blame for their position while they're still there?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, there are some things that are very there are kind of set up for you to fail within those environments. Just the resources that are in the schools, just exposure to certain like opportunities for you. If you don't know that you can like go beyond just hooping, rapping, performing in a sense, even like comedy, if that's the only way that I knew how to kind of get attention in some sense. So if I found out that there was other ways to get that type of fulfillment through other ways of like the stock market business, I might have looked at it in a different way. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I think that there's just a different amount of exposure in the hood versus in any other community, and I don't blame it on the people within that community. Even with us having technology now, I still don't blame it on us, because it's cultural now versus like more so exposed. You have to expose people to like greater to allow them to see to do greater.
Now, Anderson, I'm gonna structure the question a bit different to you because I think what Marcus said was right on point when he said that the underexposure that we have, and even in the interview, we said that for a change, the interviewer asked Kevin about his businesses and not the entertainment side of things. And
Mhm.
for a lot of us that come from impoverished communities, we always look at the basketball, we always look at the football, the other sports, the entertainment, the rapping. Do you think that there's an issue in these communities when it comes to exposure and education and the business aspects of things that can also help them to get out of the community or even better the community?
Yeah, but here's the thing that I find so ironic. We're so big on talking about how we don't trust the government, yet and still we're letting the government educate our kids. That to me is absolutely insane. It makes absolutely no sense. And the thing that I wish Kev would have touched on is there's a lot of other things that play into that. So there's no financial literacy, there's no education there at all. I didn't learn how to write my first check until my freshman year of college, right? The other part of that is all hoods, like damn near all hoods, are food deserts. So you're not getting the proper nutrition, right? We used to have a physical fitness standard that we have completely wiped out. Kennedy put it in place, and 20 years later, Reagan took it out. So we have all of these other things playing against us. And then to say it on Grant Cardone's stage, who has said things like he just wants somebody in the hood to stamp him so that he can use the N-word, and he loves talking to black people in real simple, easy to understand, digest language. For him to say that just doubles down on Grant Cardone's theory that black people are stupid. And that in and of itself is problematic. But let's talk about the numbers for a second. Only 16% of Americans are underbanked, meaning they don't have checking, savings, stocks, bonds, things of that nature, while 27% of Black people are underbanked, and 11% of all Black people have absolutely no bank accounts at all. So we have a lot of structural problems. We don't know what to do with credit. We exchange our credit for a t-shirt. We get into debilitating student loans. And it's not that we're not smart enough, to Marcus's point, it literally is. We have not been exposed to it. And it's not that when you get enough money, you start talking different. It's that when you're in a higher tax bracket, you experience different things that you never had access to. It is our job as business owners and as entrepreneurs and as well-to-do celebrities to be able to bring that information to our people in a way that they can understand it.
So my last question to you is, Kevin Hart is worth, I can't remember what his net worth is, but of course it's millions of dollars. He's one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood. So do you think that a lot of this backlash is coming from the fact that he's so successful and people feel like you shouldn't be talking about hood business?
Go ahead, Marcus.
Of course so. I mean, that's just life, man. I mean, no one wants anybody who's doing better than them to tell them how to do better than what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just it feels as if someone's talking down to you. I hope that he's not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I rock with Kevin, I rock with his comedy, rock with what he's done business, his whole team, all that good stuff. And I don't feel like that's what he's trying to do. Of course, when somebody gets passionate, like I said before, you start saying things that are a little, but yeah, I mean, at the same time, man, like, I do feel like a lot of times, man, people are really, really starting to get like agitating when people are starting to see stuff on Instagram now. And I feel like the algorithms are kind of dividing people and making people feel like they're in classes right now and not even a community anymore. They got families getting divided, relationships getting divided. Everybody's always on some like, this person ain't doing that, that person ain't. It's like we don't have a lot of love right now going on in our community. And anything that's said or triggered or feeling like it's directed to our community, we're going to lash back. We're going to get a white chair and smash a nigga head real quick. You know what I'm saying? Just because we just got to feel that way sometimes. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, I think that's just what's happening right now in the culture. Like, the have-nots are not liking what the haves are doing and talking that, that shit about them like they're not trying. Because it seems as if a lot of times it makes it feel like you act as if I'm not trying. And you're saying it in a tone of what, oh, if you're able to do it, then I can do it. Like, you don't know, like, some people are like, yo, I'm trying and I'm trying to get to it and I'm gonna get to it by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, like you said before, I don't judge cats who are making their money in the streets or whatever, man. Like, whatever option you have and whatever lineage you have to where you're doing what you're doing is what you're typically gonna do. Like, your environment is gonna dictate who you are typically. So unless you're exposed to different things, you're gonna do what you've seen before. So
Absolutely. Dave, what's your thoughts on that last question?
Think with Kev and with anybody in this situation, Marcus is 100% right. The algorithm is set up. First, it was, high value men versus women, and what do you bring to the table? There's all these factors pitting everybody against each other, and we love talking about the culture, right? But the truth of the matter is the majority of what's being fed to us as the culture is benefiting white people. Let's just call it what it is. The record companies are all owned by white people. I'm not talking about labels. I'm talking about actual companies, right? The digital means of distribution are all owned by white people. So wouldn't it make sense? What do we like to see? We like to see fights. We like to see dissent. We like to see division. If we all got on the same page, say, okay, Kev, we don't like what you said, so why don't you show us what to do, right? Kev is investing in thousands of Black businesses that nobody's talking about. Kev is making a lot of moves that nobody's talking about. And so we have to have a really balanced conversation. But until such time as we recognize the enemy is not us, but the enemy is the people who is feeding us, financing us, and telling us what the standard is and what the culture is, because everybody who creates the creativity part is not usually owning it. We're phenomenal performers, but we're horrible owners and managers because we have not ascended to that, and we need more of that in order to fix this problem.
Perfect. This was such a
Bars.
great conversation, right? This is such a great conversation with both of you men, and I'm so happy that we took the time out and we addressed so many things in such a short period of time. So before you head out, I have to ask you, what do you have coming up and how can people follow you? Marcus Harvey, let me start off with you.
Oh man. Well, currently I am on the road doing some cutting and whatnot. So you guys can go to my page, the Marcus Harvey. I'm also doing some reviews on some television shows, sketches on my YouTube page, the Marcus Harvey TV. I got a master class coming out for barbering and taking your barber skills to the next level. Even you're building your brand to the next level. We got a lot of other little small things, man. We got not small things, but I like to see that's that culture thing. I got to try to
Yeah.
minimize what I'm doing so I can make other people feel good. Like, oh, I'll support him. He's so humble, man. Listen, the boy lit right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting my money back up. Feel like I'm back in the trap, so I'm getting it back up. Nah, but yeah, man, just follow me on all the platforms, man. We got Straight Ghost Weekend for Ghost Brothers, October 28th and 27th and 28th. So check that out too. It's gonna be dope in Savannah. We do like these ghost hunts. So I got the little dope team. We got it going on. So man, just check me out, man. And yeah, keep supporting Black Excellence, y'all. Keep supporting Black Excellence. Say something nice to me in the comments, because I'll be reading the comments. So say something nice to me in the comments, y'all.
Nice. I love it. Dave, what do you have coming up and how can people follow you?
Oh, easy. Listen, I am out right now doing speaking engagements all over the country, promoting my book, Sell It Like Jesus, Principles and Strategies of the World's Greatest Salesman, available
Robo
everywhere.
Shata. Hey.
I'm Honda, Marcus. I'm Honda. Osama bin Laden. Listen to me. I want people to get access to information. Like when we talk about growth and doing things in order to build a business, I just created a free workshop. It's 5 minutes and 40 seconds, no fluff. You can go to thebusinessbully.com/without paid ads. And I'll show you exactly how to build a business and scale it without using any paid ads. And I'm on all social media at The Business Bully.
Nice. I love it. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for coming on Comedy Hype. Yes, and having this.
Let me say one thing, Danielle, real quick. Because John be talking stuff about Prime sometimes. And I just want to let you know that Prime Time is bringing Black excellence to everybody. So just do what Prime would like to do. Do good things for Prime, man. Shouts out to Coach Prime. John, stop hating, baby. Stop hating. Get on the bandwagon, baby. Get on the bandwagon.
Look, I'm not getting in that. Hopefully one day we can see Prime Time on Comedy Hype as well.
Yeah.
With John. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Now you've heard from us. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Kevin Hart being called out for calling poor people not smart enough to open bank accounts? Make sure I put it in those comments. I'm Danielle Miller reporting from the Bahamas at Fusion Superplex. This is Comedy Hype News.